Have you ever been working on something randomly and then just try to guise off as a school project? Yeah, that's what I did here. Anyway, so I find myself playing this little experience named Phighting over recent times, and it got me pretty hooked the moment I played it, so I would like to dedicate this video to why I think it's a pretty good experience. So let's just get straight into it. So, you spawn here at the lobby. We'll talk more about here later. All you need to know is that you need to talk to Zuka here. You interact with people by pressing Z. The rest of the controls are in the description, just read those, I'm not gonna teach you how games work. And say yes to his generous offer to give you a right to battle. Fighting? Well, it doesn't matter. Fighting is a team class battle type game like Team Fortress or Overwatch. Teams are made of 5 people maximum, and there cannot be duplicates in a team. Which is why I recommend not maining one class, but maining all of them like a true alpha game. There are currently 2 modes. Elimination, which is standard team deathmatch, and Conquer, which is standard King of the Hell. What sets these apart from other similar type games is that there's a limit on the kills or points a team can have, until both teams have reached that milestone during the match, making it so it's easier to come back from matches where you were busy dying for the first half of the round. I personally find this to be a really interesting and pretty good decision in terms of match balancing, due to the fact that you don't really have to worry about performing too poorly overall as long as you make it count later in the match, which makes this game quite friendly for some casual like me. But there is the opposite end of the stick, where if you were winning for 90% of the match and then suddenly you lost because your kills weren't counting, it can be kind of a bummer. Perhaps if overtime will happen if you were 1 kill away from each other, like a few points away from each other, but then that would be a whole nother can of worms, and I am not a game balancer. In terms of map selection, there are not too many, but plenty enough to keep things dynamic. Unless Bank is in the selection, everyone loves to pick that map due to the soundtrack, and I cannot blame them.
Get those robbers out of the bank, dead or alive!
Speaking of, Phighting is a completely original soundtrack, some of which are even a few remixes of the old Roblox soundtrack, which I find pretty neat. These tracks are composed by these people. Good job, you lads. Of course, if I were to pick favorites, I'd say Oofy tunes from Key After Key. Now, let's get into the classes slash fighters. If you've played the game before, you probably know about them already, so if you want to, you can skip ahead right here. Fighters are divided into 3 different types. There are currently 10 in total, with 2 upcoming ones, which are Windstaff and Shuriken, for both support and range respectively. I would normally love to speculate on what they could do, but this isn't a speculation video. So, as I was recording this, I've noticed that there is now another announced class that's named Banhammer. Every fighter has a passive and 4 abilities. Their mouse 2, right click, Q, E and F, which is the finisher. And I will be giving a little general information about fighters in this section. Sword is your average fighter type you may find in other games. I mean, what else do you really expect from a sword? With a passive that's able to give you a little bit of shield every time you hit someone, with your normal attack of course, you can be a pretty durable guy. Overall, while not my cup of tea, I can see Sword being a pretty good fighter if you don't suffer from a chronic case of I couldn't keep my cursor on my opponent even if my life depended on it. And also if the range wasn't shorter than 2mm. Skateboard is my second favorite fighter, a hit and run specialist. The main gimmick of skateboard is his E, where he will swap between being on his board or off his board, depending on in which state you casted it. The usual way to play skateboard is to skate around the map for a while before you see someone you're able to pick off, in which case you skate over to them and rush them down due to how high your damage output can be. The really funny thing is, if you cast Q at start of the round while you're on the board, you can just go to the enemy side of the map instantly. Also, at the time of recording, this skateboard is gonna get a huge buff, like, check this out, bro.
Like, watch this trick, bro.
Biograph plays like a traditional assassin. Low health, high mobility, and high potential damage. Biograph is the most fragile fighter, but it makes up for this due to the fact that it has quite diverse abilities, and high potential damage, of course. Katana is probably the most traditional tank type class in this game so far, having the highest total hit points in the game. But this comes at the cost of not having much mobility. But on the plus side of things, you do have a lot of damage and can pull people to you like Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. Rocket is Soldier from Team 4. Rocket is the adopted son of Zuka, who is more of a mid-range fighter with not that gigantic splash, except for maybe Mouse 2. But it's still splash, so it's something, I guess. And it's not entirely brainless, so hey. Slingshot is a very versatile and mobile fighter, being able to change playstyles in the middle of the round if he so pleases. Although since you are a ranged fighter, you kinda suck at close range, just keep that in mind. Especially against a boombox, who can basically render any type of ranged fighter useless if he just gets up close to them. And also good luck trying to land your mouse too. It's pretty hard if I do say so myself. Hyper Laser plays like a true sniper, having the edgiest lines in the entire game. And of course I have to mention that there was a huge missed opportunity to call his finisher which is a one in the chamber type deal, so I can kind of see why Hyper Laser's lines are so sweaty and edgy. Aside from that, Hyper Laser probably has the most ranged viability of any fighter in the game. Medkit is the only fighter capable of healing, and as a natural born support main, my favorite fighter to play. Due to the only one being able to heal, you can blame all your failures on your teammates with no consequence whatsoever. Seriously though, do not play Medkit if there are no melee fighters in your team, you will regret it. And last thing worth mentioning is that your finisher has global range, meaning you can revive or heal your team from the entire map. Obligatory Medkit Lover 89 mention. Boombox is Lucio from over... Okay, enough of this joke. Boombox, in terms of supporting, is more of a shield supplier. With a unique metronome gimmick, if you hit people with your main attack, you gain charges which make your abilities more powerful. Although from your abilities, the most you'll be seeing use of is E, which is a shield that blocks all projectiles and has 300 health points. Meaning you can bully medkits if you want to, but if you do, I'm going to find you and I'm going to tear you limb from limb. Subspace is a pretty unique take on a support, with your main role being applying poison and damage vulnerability, instead of granting any buffs to your team. Due to this, you pair really well with Biograph, who benefits from damage vulnerability and the fact that enemies will be taking constant damage due to their Q being an execute. Probably the most aggressive support if we ignore the boombox that will deliberately focus you down. I hate you so much. And that's all the fighters until Shuriken and Vine Staff, also Van Hammer, are released. Now we can get to the lobby. This place is pretty lively for an unfinished build. There are many skins and many walking NPCs. some of which you can talk to, and they have pretty hilarious dialogue. The skins will offer you to buy them at a certain price, the cheapest one being somewhere around 20 to 25k bucks, I think. Not too sure, I really have to double check that. And the most expensive ones are at 50k, usually being skins from festivals. Speaking of, festivals are little mini event type things where you will pick a team, and if your team wins, you get the skin. There is currently an upcoming festival that will last between April 7th and April 11th, so if you wanna try out fighting, you definitely should get to it soon. As of recording this, it has since been delayed to the 20th of April. Also, as mentioned before, the main currency is bucks, only used to buy skins. You gain it from matches by default. Winning gives more, of course. And there are multiplier matches where the gains you'll be getting will be multiplied by either somewhere around 10 to 66.6%. Yes, there's a match for that, it's called Devil's Game. Funny. Anyway, back to the lobby. Nothing will ever match the fun value of the cheese. This thing can launch you to the stratosphere and over to another galaxy entirely. You have to push it around a bit, and getting to your goal might take a little over 2 hours. But maybe the real cheese was the friends we made along the way. Okay, seriously though, you can get to the top of the tower, which is normally inaccessible, and see these two gentlemen. Valk and Dom, who are the festival team representatives, but they don't do anything here. Best waste of time of my life, if I'm being honest. Honestly, pretty solid game. A nice community, fun. What else could I really want? With upcoming updates, especially the 3 fighters, the game has quite a lot of potential. I'd suggest voice acting, but finding actors could be hard, so that is probably on the backlog, but also the tweets can suggest otherwise. Who knows, we just have to wait for the updates. And I'd volunteer, but I really need to work on my delivery sometimes. Also, I am never doing a voice with a towel on my face ever again.
Seriously, this was a bad idea.
The only fighter this really will affect is Hyperlaser, because I sometimes miss the subtitles and cluelessly walk to my death as I get one shot. The other ultimates are pretty in the moment and a bit close range. Oftentimes, not slingshot, but that's pretty obvious. So, not really much of an issue for any other ultimate, I think. And that's all I have. We'll really have to see what happens as the game develops, so yeah, play it. It's good.